Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of Slicey Boy Saturday here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm as always your host here, the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about the recently dropped Walmart 2025 Christmas Ozark Trail fixed blades and folders, as well as a couple of the ones that have been out for about a month now or so, which is the Fathom and the Shadow knives that are $8 a piece right now. All the new ones here that are various 7.5 inch fixed blade folders here and stuff like that, or fixed blades and folders, is what it is. These are all the ones that were on display for Black Friday, basically, is what it is. And so these are brand new ones that are coming out this year that don't have names yet. And I'm sure that they will have names in the future probably, and they'll be released next year, is my guess, honestly. Some of these do have, like specifically this guy right here, does have a reversible clip on it, is what it is right there. Some ones like this that claim to have one do not have one. They're just like this single clip right there is what it is. They have no way to interchange them. That's what it is there. So anyway, they end up having, when I went to Walmart yesterday to pick up some medication, they had all these ones, and they had probably about, I think it was half a dozen or so multi-tools and stuff like that. And then it was like another, like probably like 6 different knives or whatever that were like various things. They had like, I think they had like one more fixed, but I didn't think was any, didn't look good to me anyway. I didn't really want to pay the money for it, is what it was there. I think there was like 2 more folders or something like that that I didn't pick up, is what it was then. So, but anyway, so basically what we're going to do this today is I'm actually going to pop the these $8 ones open first, and then we're going to use those to try to cut these guys open, is what it is then. So, and we'll just, that's what it'll be. But so we got 6 different, oh, by the way, all these, the 2 fixed blades and the 4 folders there that are on the Black Friday displays are all $7 a piece. Obviously these guys are $8 a piece. So it's basically a little bit more expensive than it was last year, unfortunately. And it makes sense given the tariffs and everything going on right now. Or at least I assume that's what the Walters would claim. Who knows if that's actually the truth or not, or if it's just them being a bunch of greedy assholes. So it could be either or, honestly. Obviously, starting out with the Fathom here. This claims to be a 3-inch stainless steel blade, 4-inch polypropylate handle, liner lock pocket clip is what it says on there. Obviously, I got one before that was a unnamed before they actually named it into the current build it is right now. So I also want to see if it's with the name and stuff on it now, if it's actually a better quality out of the package or not, or if these are just one of these ones that you gotta like deal with as what it is or something. So this packaging is like something else, man. Like it does not want to tear out. There we go. I finally got it. All right. It's a little junky out of the package right away, honestly. Like it's got like grit or something on it. Like it's very like it almost feels like it got like dropped in like candy or something. So let's go ahead and see if this actually folds properly or not then, if it's going to be a little bit of a dick like the last one was. Nope, it's going to be the same way. Yeah, I kind of figures what, yeah, you can actually, I don't know if you guys can hear that, like, when I pop it open there, it just, I think I'm about to fool with the pivot screws, what it is right there. And then also put, obviously, some, what you call it, into it, then is what it is, a little bit of oil there, maybe, and see if that doesn't help it out, or whatever the case be. So, let's go ahead and see if this actually will cut open these brown packages or not. It slices it, doesn't really cut it open, knows what it is. So, try that a second and see if it has any edge at all. It has a little bit of an edge there, not much, but enough basically. So, not that surprising though, honestly. Again, some people say it's a mystery steel with these. I think it's either I think it's like 3 MOV or 5 MOV if I'm not mistaken. So it's like a known steel. It's just not the greatest quality. And then obviously when you're mass producing it, it's not, super great out of the package and stuff like that. Obviously we got a Shadow here as well, which is the green handle version of the Zephyr. It does not have the reversible clip on it. That is what it is. This is basically, from what I figured out with the Shadow, and then obviously the Red Zephyr, which is one of the new ones. They don't call it the Red Zephyr, they just call it the Zephyr, and it's got a red handle is what it is here. Out of the new $7 line, is that they basically just took the Zephyrs that they had left in stock. I think they were black handled, and they just repainted them like green or red is what it was then, which makes logical sense. But anyway, so it looks pretty much exactly like the that $5 Zephyr from last Christmas time. So let's see if this actually flips or not out of the package. Oh, it does not have a tab actually. That's the difference. I didn't even realize that until now. Yeah, it's literally that's a tab only opener then. Huh, interesting. Yeah, because I know the original Zephyr had a little like flipper tab right there is what it is, so interesting. Well, that's good to know then for sure. So I'm gonna actually test this out on one of the other packages here, see if I can get a cut or not on this. Yeah, it's about the same cut basically as the other guy. Yeah, about the same. So that is interesting to note though that with the Shadow it's a tab deployment instead of an actual flipper then. So that potentially is a failure point, by the way. I just want to point that out right now. Not having the secondary ability to open is what it is there. Alright, so next we're going to move on to one of the new ones, which is considered a 7.5-inch folding knife on the back for the specs. What I think is interesting too, by the way, is the $8 ones didn't have an actual country of origin on them. But if you actually look at the back of these ones right here, it's right here where it says it's made in Vietnam. So I don't know if the other ones were or not. I'm assuming what it is it's probably China producing this stuff in Vietnam. But it's all manufactured in China would be my guess. Probably imported from Vietnam would be my assumption. But either way, it is what it is. So yeah, this guy is a 3.25-inch stainless steel blade, 4.25-inch rubberized polypropylene handle, liner lock, pocket clip, and this is a reversible clip on it, which I don't believe it does have that actually. It only has the single way to do it. There's what it is. So got a little, I'm not even sure exactly what kind of blade that's considered, if that's considered more of a sheep's head or if that's considered like something else then. So let's go ahead and test this bad boy out though. Has a nice fold though, I'll tell you that right now. It looks nice when it's folded for sure. Got your little flipper tab there. Yeah, it's a little bit sticky right now. Not bad though on the second go. I do like the little, I think it's called a foil thing here or whatever, where you can put your finger like that if you're going to do some stuff. It's got some very good jimping right here on the back for sure. And that definitely does feel secure in the hand. It also feels better when you're in that little choil as what it is then too. So yeah, not a bad blade for $8, I'll tell you that right now. Especially if you're comparing it to like the CV Life and stuff like that I got before that was like a $20 bill and it was, didn't even want to open it all as it is then. But yeah, so that's the first of 6 then is what it is. Next up, we will go to this guy right here, which again is another 7.5-inch folder. Again, it's 3.25 stainless steel blade, 4.25 Mossy oak handle, liner lock, pocket clip, reversible clip, which is actually just a reversible clip right there. Is what it is. You can put on either side what it is then. So I'm wondering if maybe they were supposed to put it on the other one and they just didn't, is what it was. Because obviously it is on this guy. So looks like a little bit of a drop point blade there. Got a nice little Ozark trail emblem and everything on the front there. So check this guy out, see how it looks nice. This actually, like with the exception of the mossy oak pattern, this almost can be like a gentleman's folder is what it is then. Nice little flipping deployment there. Pretty solid. No jimping at all in the back here. So that's the only downside I would say with it then. But yeah, it definitely has a good flipping action for sure. Yeah, semi-good flipping action is what it is there. The package better than the other one is what it was there. So anyway, then we got 2 more folders. We got what they call the Zephyr, which is obviously a right-handled Zephyr. It looks more like it's a shadow though, just from the packaging here. It doesn't look like it has a flipper tab on it, but I could be wrong. We have one right in the middle of what it is right there. So we will go ahead and see momentarily when we pull this out if it actually does have a tab like the Zephyr, if it has more of a shadow look to it, since it does have the thumb tabs on it then too. Yeah, it looks like it's more like a shadow. Yep, no thumb assist, finger assist, whatever it's called there. So literally just a red shadow is what it is basically. I kind of don't like that. I wish they would put a little tab there is what it is. So that's a little bit disappointing, obviously. Mostly because it's, for me, it's a lot harder to do that flip open with the tabs is what it is. And if I just have a little flicker there is what we then. This does feel like a fairly smooth action. It would definitely be smooth if you actually had a flipper there, so it would be too. So, and then finally for the last of the fixed blade ones, we got a new version of the Glacier. It's more of a, I guess it would be like OD green color on that, I think is what it would be considered. Just like the other ones, 3 1/4 inch stainless steel, 4 1/4 inch rubberized polypropylene handle. Claims it's a slide lock, pocket clip, reversible clip, which it does have the reverse little tabby thing right there is what it is if you want to do it the other way. So we'll see how good this actually is with the little access lock that it has on it. Yeah, it does not want to fucking close. It is not good. Yeah, it definitely looks more like the Glaciers there. It doesn't have the full bar. It's just a little piece right there on the top. So let me see if I can. There it finally goes. Yeah, not bad. Let's see if I can get it to. There it goes. Yeah, see, the problem with that is you basically have to go like all the way down. And that does kind of mess with your fingers a little bit, is what it is there. I'm assuming some oil or something might fix that, but I'm not totally sure is what it is. But yeah, not bad. Not bad for $7. And then finally, we're going to talk about the last two, which are the 2 fixed blades I got, which we got a white handled and we have a black handled. So we'll do the black first, is what it is here. See if I can pop this out of here or not. Fairly easily. I guess it's like a tear thing on the back too as well for the actual what you call it there. Yeah, not bad looking. It's a little bit of an interesting Tonto look to it. Not quite like the Eagle Rock was last year. Handle feels like it's definitely a rubberized handle. You can tell that right now. I kind of wish they had not done it in this weird like pattern like that. I wish it had been like just one solid piece because it would feel a lot better in the hand than I think is what it is. The fact that it has like next to no Charlotte all right there is kind of a little bit concerning, honestly, since you can't like go up there without obviously like almost cutting your fingers what it is there. The fact there's also no jimping on the back of this is kind of a concern. So, yeah, I would say this is kind of a miss, honestly, on this one, particularly. That's just my opinion of it. I'm sure there's others out there that would love that, but I don't know. I feel like if you're going to have the whole point of a fixed blade knife in general is that you're going to take it out into the forest or something and actually fool with it and use it. So the fact there's like no there's no jimping on there at all is kind of a concern of itself. Also, the fact this does not have like a audible click to it is kind of a bit of a what the fuck. I do like the actual sheet they have with it though, because it has that little like thumb ramp or whatever. But the problem is like with this one, it's like you can barely hear like a click at all right there is what it is. Like obviously when it pops out you can, but yeah, popping it doesn't really have much of anything. This will probably be one I'll actually give away for Christmas this year with somebody, or maybe I'll just do like a channel giveaway or something like that in the future for it. And then finally I got the one that I actually wanted to get, which was the white one. Or I should say the white handle one, which feels very, very smooth to the touch. So pull its little pocket out there first. Ooh, that looks nice. Has a little bit of that like weird. I think it's from the Ozark Trail emblem on there. It has like a weird like texture to it or something. Like it had like some stickiness out of the box or something. Interesting handle design for sure. With that almost like drop point look to it or whatever. Feels fairly good in the hand though. Yeah, fairly sharp out of the, well, yeah, it's definitely got some sharpness to it out of the box. Let's see how it actually cuts through its own material here. Could be better, but again, this is pretty thick cardboard stock then. Maybe take a little bit of the piece right there. It's already kind of ripped out. See if it'll cut through that or not. Yeah, it does cut through. It's not too bad. I mean, it probably could use a little bit of a sharpening, but yeah, not bad at all what it is then. Like I said, feels pretty decent in the hand, but then again, my hand is pretty big, so these are obviously made for like smaller handed people, I think is what it is there. Also, again, the lack of jimping on this one too is kind of like, what the hell, man? Because again, if you're gonna carry a fixed blade, like I'm gonna want to have my jimping, man, for real. Oh, that does have an audible lock to it though. That's good. Yeah, audible lock. A little bit harder to get out actually, but that could probably be just put a little bit of oil on the knife itself. Then could probably fix that whole issue with this. Then, yeah. See, that's what it should sound like honestly when it's going in there. Is like that audible click basically into place. So, but yeah, for $7, not a bad deal at all. Like I said, I think this one's probably better than the weird like two-tone black handle one here is what it is. Although I do like that. I kind of wish this blade look was on this handle, honestly. Because I think by comparison, like I do like this blade look more, like that Tonto look, versus I think this is more of a drop point is what it is. And I kind of wish that it was like opposite each other as it would be then. So, but again, it is what it is. Like I said, for $7, you can't really be complaining too much. If you really want something that's, like that, you gotta go to other places, like your Amazons or whatever the case be, and just find something that's a little bit more pricey out there is what it is then. So, but yeah, overall, not a bad set of knives though this season. Like I said, the price point I think could have been a little bit cheaper, honestly. Like they still could have been like a $5 set of knives basically this year. But I'm assuming, like I said, with the greed of the Waltners and then them wanting to blame Trump for all the tariff stuff is what it is. I'm sure that's probably what they put on is what it is then. So it is what it is, man. One thing I do want to talk about before we leave, though, obviously that's the end of the Ozark Trail line is what it is. I actually got a new folding knife the other day from a company called Zhenging. I think that's how you pronounce it. Zanging. And then I also have another one that's a very similar look that I got some months back. I forget who made this one. But this was like a $15 one, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously it's a crossbar, like access lock is what it is, but it also has a thumb stud thing there for deployments, which, works about 50% of the time is what it is there. And of course you can also just go and do a little pop out there is what it is. And this actually does fold like pretty easily is what it is. And like I said, for 12 to 15, I think that's what I pay for this one, compared to this new one that was like around the $20 bill is what it is. Now, granted, it does have a better package that came in. It came in a little zipper case there. Obviously, it comes kind of like that, except it was in a bag that the knife was in, obviously. And then you got your knife over on this side. You got a cool little knife sticker thing there on that. You got the company logo thing right there. Little instruction manual thingy. And then your nice little terry cloth, cleaning cloth thing with their actual logo on is what it is there, which is kind of cool. And like I said, it's an interesting one overall. The issue with this one, obviously, is that it has, when you compare these two, like this just looks like a bigger version of this, basically, is what it is. And they have a very similar kind of like stud piece on the back. They also have a very similar lock up there. And that's why you can basically tell they're basically probably coming from the same Chinese manufacturer or factory is what it is there. The difference between this new one, though, which is it's interesting to me because it's supposed to be just D2, but then it says, let's see if I can find it on there right now, Cryo D2, and then it has a China on the bottom of it there. Whereas with this guy, it does not quite want to flip open on its own there. Like it almost wants to go, but not fully. And then with this, I think I'm gonna have to oil. I'm either have to oil this, or I'm gonna have to take like the pivot pin thing right there and like loosen it up a little bit, because with this guy, you basically have to pull like completely down for it to even do anything at all. And it is very hard to do a complete pull down when you have arthritis in your hands like I do. So, and then like I said, the fact that it doesn't even really want to go at all, even though it's completely pulled down there, is what it is, which is kind of fucking weird. So it's almost like you gotta pull like both tabs and then like try to get it to come out, is what it is then. Yeah, there you go. Finally got it. But that was just ridiculous what it is. So I think it's gonna be a mix of oil and then just fucking with the actual latching and stuff like that. But what's nice about this guy, though, is that difference, obviously, between these two is that this guy, the way that they built this, you can tell on the back of it, it has like a fold over of how they did the material inside of it. There's what it is. And so it's non-reversible. Whereas this Jennings one, you have this little pocket clip back here is what it is. And you can actually take it off and flip to the other side. There's what it is then. And then, of course, it has a full liner is what it is then, too. So, and this does feel nice in the hand, though, I will say that. And it also has the little, it's not quite aggressive jimping is what it is right there, but it's like semi-aggressive. And then it has a secondary set on the back of the liner right here. If you never need to do like a strike off or something there is what it is then. So, not a bad knife, but like I said, just the issue I have is that it's not really, I think it's like an oiling issue or something maybe out of the company is what it is then. And then just not oiling it before they ship it is what it is then or something. So it's like much stiffer than it should be is what it is. So it might be an oiling issue, it might be a pivot issue where I just gotta, listen to that pivot point a little bit or something and see if that'll do something to it or something or not. But yeah, it's kind of just a pain in the ass to have to like, not be able to go completely down like that versus a knife that was about probably closer to half the price that you can easily just deploy. And that's how it should be. It should be like that kind of smoothness where all you gotta do is like tap down a little bit. It just goes basically. So, but it is what it is, man. But yeah, I think these are still on sale right now for around $20 is what it is on Amazon. So I figured I'd give a shout out to that right now if anyone wants to pick one of these up. So, yeah, not a bad deal, but not the greatest either. And like I said, the fact that it says Cryo D2 instead of just D2 is kind of weird. I also really don't like the fact that it has a little like Chinese emblem marking on there. It's like, I get it's made in China, but like there are so many other knives that are coming out of China that are made with D2 that do not have that. Like it seems stupid for this company to have their logo on one side and then have the actual basically made in China thing on the other side is what it is there. So anyway, yeah, like I said, it's not a bad deal. It comes with nice packaging and stuff like that. And if you wanted to give this to somebody as a gift or something like that, that'd be a good thing to have. Obviously, it's kind of funny too because when I was at Walmart yesterday getting those other knives, and I was talking to my cousin and I got to the register, and we were talking to the cashier. And she was like, "Oh, who are you getting all the knives for?" And my cousin's like, "Oh, he's getting them for Christmas gifts or whatever the case be." And I'm like, "I never said that. I'm getting them for a review, dude." So, like, that was the whole point, was to get them for a review and then use them after the fact is what it would be then. So, which I know for a fact, like, some of these I will give away, obviously, like, specifically this guy right here when I give away. Just because I don't personally like the way that it handles. And I think this would be a good fixed blade for like a kid is what it is then. That's like their first fixed blade or something like that then. And then just because the Shadow and this Red Zephyr are basically the same way, where they don't have the little flipper tab, they just have the little thumb stud deployments. I think I'll probably give this one to somebody and then just keep the red one as what it is then. So yeah, they're not bad. I just wish they had a little flipper there is what it is, because it's just such, I think that's the thing, when you're talking about liner locks, like that little flipper tab is just so much better for deployment is what it is, and it's so much easier for deployment too. Versus, like I know some people can do the flip really easily. I can't really do it because my thumbs are very arthritic is what it is then. And that's why I prefer the little tab is what it is, because it's just for me, I can just do the finger then. Just do a quick flip up and that's what it'll be then. So, like with that guy right there, I can easily just, pop it and it basically comes out of what it is then. So, this one does, I think this one feels the best actually out of everything. I don't really like the way the clip is though. I wish the clip was a little bit further down, like closer to the actual handle. Or maybe it was like more up here someplace. But yeah, it definitely does feel pretty decent in the hand is what it is then, with the exception of that. So, what the fuck? put some oil on that one because I think it has like a little stickiness or something on that liner lock. That's what it is right now, which is no good. So I think out of the box, honestly, the ones that I got today, I think the mossy oak looking pattern is probably the best of all the flippers because it just actually flips completely is what it is then. And it feels pretty good in the hand too as well. Like I could definitely see doing some stuff with this is what it is. I'm not sure what that little like weird, it's almost like a drill like inlay on it for some reason. It's kind of weird though. I don't really see the point in that one, but it is what it is. So they also had like, I think it was like anywhere from like 4 to 6 multi-tools on the thing is what it was there. I don't think I'm going to pick any of those up just because I don't need a multi-tool, but if I did for $7, it's not a bad deal at all then. So anyway, but yeah, I would say for sure the mossy oak one probably wins the day for these knives. Everything else kind of, do you want it? Do you not want it? Get at your leisure kind of thing is what it is there. I think for me personally, like these two guys are probably the best ones of the mix though, which is obviously the little, I guess you'd call it more of a cleaver cut look to it, or maybe like a sheep's head blade style, and then obviously the mossy oak one, which is more of a like traditional drop point, I think is what it is then. So, but anyway, other than that, that's where we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I will be back next Saturday for another episode of Slicey Boy Saturday. I'm not sure exactly when. It might be around here, around the 10:30, 11 o'clock mark, or it might be more like 12, 1, 2 o'clock, depending on how I'm feeling, everything like that. And, up to that day, obviously. But, yeah, other than that, it's been fun. It's been real. I think next week we'll probably just do fixed blades, what it is. I got a couple of new fixed blades in the last couple of weeks now from various places that are fairly nice. They're more on the high-end ones, what it is. I think one of them was a DC53 again. I believe there's another one that's like an Oz 10 or something. And they're both pretty good blades, and they look pretty decent. And there's another couple of little neck knives and stuff that I picked up since then. So I might do like another neck knife one or something in the future. But yeah, other than that, though, that's about it for today. I will obviously be back throughout the week, too, for that matter. And I will be talking about different things. I don't know if Hana's going to do a chat tomorrow night or not. If he does, I'll be on that one. If he doesn't, I might do something like earlier on. Then if I know he's not going to do it or whatever, then other than that, I will probably be back sometime this coming week for either a grandstand or something else for the matter. And then obviously we'll do our regular Freedom Friday next week, so it'll be then. But other than that, you guys know the schedule now. Friday, Saturday is usually the stream days, and then it'll be maybe like a Tuesday or Wednesday, like random stream or something like that here and there. Those are the days where I'll do a review on something. That's what it is then. So, but anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this Walmart 2025 Christmas Ozark Trail Knife edition. And I would say if you want any of these, go check out your local Wally World and see if they have them in stock yet or not. I was surprised that they did yesterday. I assumed it wasn't going to be for another week or so. But yeah, it was already a display out there. So I'm assuming it's been sometime this week. They probably put it out, as my guess, honestly. But yeah, for $7, you can pick and choose, or you can get a bunch of them, what it is then. And, if you need a bunch of various knives for, stocking stuffers or something like that, if you want to get a bunch of next generation of kids or something into your hobby or something like that, that's the best way to do it, honestly, is just get them a cheapo one. And then, have that be their first, folder or their first fixed blade or whatever it is there. And then simply from there, sort of start scaling them up is what it is then. Like next year, get them something better than it isn't or something. And so forth and so on. Plus, the nice thing about these, $7 knives is you can basically just beat them to death, basically, what it is there. And if they break, they break. It's whatever. So my only suggestion, obviously, would be getting a sharpening stone for these because out of the box, they're not the sharpest. They all have an edge for sure, but they're not like razor sharp or anything like that. So definitely, I would say pick up some kind of a sharpener and just do a bunch of strokes through it to the point where you can get this into more of a razor pattern is what it is than with this, unknown stainless steel is what it is then. But yeah, other than that, I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay safe, stay vigilant, all that good stuff, and have a good rest of your Saturday. Peace out, y'all. Later.